Hello everybody and welcome to RPG Horror Stories. So I've been doing a little bit of talking with my Discord and it turns out some of my patrons don't actually know the story of Old Man Henderson. So I've decided that as a subscriber goal, if we reach the level of 100 subscribers on the YouTube channel, I will then make a couple of videos in which I read the story of Old Man Henderson for all of you in its true green text glory. He's a wild character. He's literally the benchmark for how game-breaking a character is. That's how awesome Henderson is. Now, let's move on to the RPG horror stories. Start things off strong today with the DM tries to lie to a party of friends that we all hate each other. Getting off to a good start, huh? Loser. So, this story happened years ago, but I found myself chuckling to myself about it recently. There is a TLDR at the bottom. This story revolves around a real spineless DM. I will call him Coward. It started out with me and Coward as players in a short-lived campaign, and after it fizzled out, he invited me to a Dungeons & Dragons game, and I brought myself a couple of players they've been playing in games I ran as a DM for a few years before this, that I will name Baron, Blizzard, and Blair. Things started out pretty decent, and we were having fun in a heavily homebrewed campaign, but issues started to form around how obsessive Coward was with being in control. The party was fleeing a city in a Magitech vehicle and driving across some flat badlands when we started getting chased by a bounty hunter who was behind us with a sniper rifle. The rifle was doing like 40 damage a bullet, so it would take any of us out with like 2 hits, and he had an absurd chance to hit, like a plus 12 bonus against a party of level 5s. This is when I have the idea to cast Windwall behind us to deflect the bullets and give us a moment of reprieve. The Coward says that doesn't work and the bounty hunter fires through the wall. I argued that the spell literally states that armors, bolts, and other ordinary projectiles launched at targets behind the wall are deflected upward and automatically miss. The Coward says that the bullets aren't effective since they're a bit rare, so they're beyond ordinary. Baron then joins in saying that the exceptions that the spell lists involve around giant boulders and siege engines, not bullets. Coward then argues that they're going so fast that the wind wall wouldn't affect them, which I and Blair argued that doesn't really matter since the spell doesn't have an exception for speed, only size. The Coward then yells, "I'm the DM and what I say goes." We all shut up and play the rest of the session, which involves essentially a mandatory "you're all defeated and brought back in shackles." That I and Varin complained that it was super railroady, and Coward said, "It needed to happen for progression since we weren't supposed to escape the city in the first place." So, we already know that this is a nightmare DM, but let's play a devil's advocate right here. If the DM did want to break through the wind wall the way that they did, what they should have done, if they were really wanting to do this and not come off as just a complete dickwad, is say, sorry. The sniper rifle is a +2, and each of the bullets are also +2 bullets. That would partially explain the amount of damage they were taking, and it would also explain the ability to penetrate through a wind wall. Because magical items aren't considered to be ordinary in Dungeons & Dragons terms. I mean, yes, they are ordinary in that they're somewhat common in the world, depending on your own homebrew. But in most cases, magic item instantly means it is an extraordinary item, and therefore cannot be affected by Windwall if you really want to rules layer things. But either way, this is in fact super railroady. And I hate it. I'm used to writing things super open-ended. You're gonna have a chase scene. You've got a fucking chase scene on your hands, so you've got to make it good, and you've got to improvise that shit. No
murder. You're not supposed to leave the house yet, so I'm gonna murder you.
That's just lazy story telling, dude. The session ends, and I have a bad taste in my mouth. Then a few days later, I get a message from Coward saying that he was dropping 2 players. Possibly 3 because his life is speeding back up, and reducing the player count makes the game and stories easier to follow and manage. Interestingly, the 2 he was dropping were me and Varen, the 2 people who did most of the arguing against him in the previous session. A few months pass, and I get invited into a game that Blair and Blizzard are in, that is also ran by Coward. I was just happy to play with my friends again, so I sat on the fact that I had issues with Coward as a DM. A few sessions pass, and things are mostly going well. Admittedly, he didn't get a ton done because we were having a lot of fun role-playing and chatting with each other and generally having fun. After like 4 total sessions, I get booted from the game and Coward sent me a message saying, essentially, that I was a problem player that was bulldozing other people, enticing tangents, and cutting people off. He essentially mentions that Blizzard and Blair have aired to him significant issues. He has the gall to claim that Blair actually went to him crying that me not letting her talk drove her to tears. This was bullshit for several reasons, as I was hardly the only person chatting and getting distracted. And also, this isn't a dig at Dare. She tended to have a habit of spacing out, getting distracted, and cutting others off with jokes. But none of that really bothered any of us, since we were having fun, but I guess in Coward's eyes, we were having fun wrong. After being booted from the campaign, I get a message from Blair, asking why I had to leave and asked if everything was okay. Apparently, Coward had told the rest of the party that I had stepped out of the game due to family issues, and didn't seem to realize that as friends, we talked to each other outside of the game. I told her the real reason was that I had been removed from the game, and she was surprised. None of what Coward had said was true. He was never brought to tears, nor did she ever felt bulldozed. Blizzard was brought into the group chat, and he said the same thing. Coward had made it all up since he simply disliked me. I messaged Coward about this, and all he says is, "We can talk about it later tonight if you have any questions, and I admit I didn't handle the situation well last time." It took 4 days of me messaging him, saying I am ready to talk, for him to finally join a voice call with me. Yeah, it's starting to show that this guy is a real son of a barrel. I mean, railroading people, literally pitting friends against each other, trying to control the friend group, railroading, destroying people's relationships, lying and saying that, oh man, family problems, when instead he kicked them out, saying that, oh man, your friends hate you. Come on, DM. Come on. You realize these are humans, right? They're not like you. They're not fucking robots that just do things autonomously. They're humans. Treat them like fucking human beings, dude. I open the VC with, "Why did you lie to me?" and the other players. And he immediately leaves the call and sends me a message saying, "I'm only willing to talk if you're not gonna come in looking for a fight." I try to send him a message saying that I'm not looking for a fight, just asking up front why he was lying to us, but I just got the response that I couldn't send a message to him. Too long. Didn't read. Coward DM boots me from a game initially because I argue against a stupid ruling, and then after being invited to his next game by my friends, he boots me again, and tries to lie, saying my friends hate me, forgetting that we talk to each other. Edit. Forgot to add this part. A year later, I was playing in a game DM'd by a friend named Blizzard, and Coward wanted to join. Blizzard messaged me saying that Coward was willing to put old wounds aside. I responded saying that the old wounds was him being a cowardly asshat who tried to lie to the entire party, so I wasn't interested in playing with him, and he ended up not joining. Edit 2. Okay, since a couple have commented this, my friends didn't keep playing with Coward. After we all found out he was lying to us, we dropped him. And when he tried to join Blizzard's game, it was because he heard through the grapevine about the game and tried to weasel his way in. I had more beef with Coward than Blizzard did, so he was open to Coward being there, but knew I wasn't. and Coward didn't join. Every single little bit of this, from the railroading to the, oh man, it penetrates the wind wall, to the fucking, oh man, we hate you. It sounds of him not actually having planned out his game, and him wanting to get rid of you as fast as possible so that he doesn't have to plan as much. Because he thinks that you're the one derailing the party off of his linear storyline. And if you're homebrewing a campaign, that shit needs to be alive. There's love, there's nurturement, there's a lot of all the stuff you do has to matter if you're homebrewing a campaign and you end up reusing that world, because that world has to feel alive. And if you're somebody who likes to railroad, or you're that guy and you've somehow managed to become a DM, you're not going to be able to create a living world, much less a half-decent campaign. Much love. Stay sexy. And I hope that your current campaign is having godly rolls and amazing luck. Next post. Creepy DM uses Dungeons & Dragons to explore their polyamory, or how to make your entire party uncomfortable. So a few years ago, I met this group at our local comic shop. I started DMing for 3 of us, and eventually we grew to a party of 8. Of those 8, the bard's spouse was brought into the fold and expressed interest in DMing for the next campaign. Seeing as I needed time to write for the next one and a break after running a 3-year-long campaign, I didn't think there would be any harm. Problem DM, who we'll call PDM, brings in one girl from another group under the guise of gaining experience in D&D. I'll admit, I am a bit naive and I didn't think anything of it. I would do something similar to introduce new players to the game. However, I was missing vital subtext. Throughout the campaign, PDM gives special treatment to the new girl. Items, rerolls, stuff other players would never be able to get away with. There were a few scenes of flirtatious dialogue, hand-holding, etc. between PDM and the new girl out of character, and we were all taking notice. PDM's spouse, the bard, explained that they are in an open marriage, which, to each their own. However, it was super problematic that he was in his 30s, and she, a naive 19-year-old girl. It was well known at this point that his spouse did not approve, yet he continued. By the time I realized the full scope of the situation, we were ready to have a chat with him about it. This all came to a head when he blatantly asked her out, just the 2 of them, one night after a session, to which she simply and firmly responded, "Ew! You go, girl." Since then, PDM stopped pursuing her in any kind of romantic sense as far as I know. Though the problem seems to have resolved itself, I will be keeping a close eye on PDM from now on, especially when I take the DM seat back. So, OP, don't feel bad about it. It happens to some of us sometimes, but this is, in fact, an abuse of power as your DM. Because when you are a dungeon master, you are in a place of power higher than your players. It does actually create consent issues, and it could theoretically be argued, even if she wanted to do it, she couldn't legally consent because he has more power than her in that circumstance. And in the first place, I don't really agree with having romance at the table if it isn't between the players themselves, because usually when you try and force romance, things don't work out. And it can create rifts in your friend group. So, good on you for trying to get this to stop when you learned about it, but I fear that by the time that you had learned what was going on, things were too far gone for you to really have much of a say in the matter. This dude, I wouldn't be surprised if he is hitting on underage women. That said, there's not much I can do for you, not much I can say aside from you've done a great job with the tools that you had and what you had the ability to do. You guys tried to shut it down, you failed, you did your best. Thank God that she left it at ill, and thank God that he didn't pursue it after the fact. Now, that's all I have for today. Much love, stay sexy, I'll see you in the next one, and if you've made it all the way here to the end of the video, got big dick energy, baby. Hope to see you on Twitch. Bye-bye!